What's going on, everybody? This is ODC, that's me, and I'm back with another action figure review. This is my review of the DC Universe Classics Wave 17 Anti-Monitor Collect and Connect figure. Very nice Collect and Connect figure, sculpt-wise. I was actually kind of hoping that he would be a little bit taller. I mean, maybe even if he was just the same size as Chemo, that would have been nice, and maybe a little bit bulkier. But he can fluctuate in size as the character is known for. So, but it would have been nice if he was maybe one of the tallest, if not the tallest, Collect and Connect figure. But still, I'm happy to have him nonetheless, and he's got a lot of really cool things about him. He's got a lot of sculpting going on, and as you can see here, I mean, his whole upper torso armor here is all sculpted. It's kind of like this rubberized material. The head, now the funny thing about the head is, which I didn't realize this, the head doesn't really peg in. It just kind of sits on top of the peg. Like, you got your peg here, but there's no real groove that goes into the head. It kind of just sits, which actually I don't mind, because you can give him a little bit more height if you want to. Sure, there'll be a little bit of a gapping issue right there, but if you really want to, you can just push his head down like that. But it also helps for maneuverability, for a little bit more of an adjustment if you want him to look up, or if you want him to look down, like I said, which is pretty cool. I just wanted to point that out right away. But the other part is, let me just bend his knees here so I'm not doing this whole review crooked. Like I said, there's a lot of sculpting going on here throughout his armor, and even on his arms, going from his shoulder to his gauntlet, which I'll call it that, or wristband. Well, I'll just call it the gauntlet. To his gauntlet, he's got this nice tunic going on here. His legs are all sculpted. There's a lot of sculpting going on with this guy. He also comes with a cape, which is attached to his upper torso. And yeah, I actually, thinking that this is one of the, well, most people would agree that this is one of the weakest waves, importance-wise. I would get important-wise, if you're looking for certain characters, or if you're a Green Lantern fan, then this was probably not a weak wave for you. I guess it all depends on what your priorities are. So I still like the wave, to be honest with you. I thought it was fun to collect, and I liked all the characters, to be honest with you, even though they were just variants, most of them. I still didn't have a problem with it, and like I said, for me, I'm trying to collect every figure that Mattel made for the DC Universe Classics, so that's my reasoning for wanting to get them. But yeah, so he does have nice sculpting going on throughout the body. I'll take a look at the boot. They even have sculpting going on here. That is sculpted, it's not just painted on. His whole boot here, very nicely done. The tunic does not continue on the back, as you can see, just the front. And he is still pretty tall Collect and Connect figure. Let me just back him up a little bit. But as far as articulation goes, his head does move. Like I said, he does have that nice movement. Even though it doesn't fully peg in, you can get him into a lot of different poses. Like, if you really want him to look up, you can. And it won't go anywhere because his collar here is really stopping his head from just falling off. Now, if we didn't have that collar, his head would probably just fall off. But his head does look down very nicely also. And you can pretty much do whatever you want with it. You can do a full rotation if you want. Or if you don't. His arms do move up very nicely. He's not really hindered that much because this is a very pliable, rubbery material, and it does move down. It can't do a full 360, but you can pretty much get him to what he needs to be, if you want. I guess you can do a full 360 if you force it. There you go. He does have a bicep, so we'll single bend at the elbow. There it is. He's a little stiff. Now his gauntlets are a separate piece, and they can rotate. I'm not really sure why you would want to do that, because you would probably have to rotate this. It would get all tangled. But this is a separate piece, and it can rotate on its own. This wrist, for some reason, is so stiff, I don't even want to mess with it. But he does have a wrist rotation. He does have an ab crunch, which works nicely. Waist swivel, T-jointed hips, which go out, forward, and back. Upper thigh swivel, single bend at the knee, and an ankle hinge, which works nicely. And he has that nice ankle pivot. So there you go. Like I said, with these collect and connect figures, you really should have an ankle pivot. I mean, I've said this numerous times, but every figure in this that came out for the DC Universe Classic should have had an ankle pivot, I think. Some people don't like it. I tend to like the ankle pivot. I think it balances the figure much better, and it's easier to stand. So, with that being said, if you get in real close here, let me just bend his knees again because he's so tall. Get in real close, you can see into his mouth. He's got the kind of like a yellow and black spotted matter, I would assume, and his eyes are painted. I believe those are just painted. I thought they were originally stickers, but they're not. It's painted. His eyes are painted, so it does look really cool. I like the design of him in general. I think he's pretty cool. He's a very powerful character. So yeah, there we go. There is Anti-Monitor. I don't know 100% a lot of information about Anti-Monitor. I know he's I believe he consumes energy in worlds. I believe that's basically what he does. But as far as size comparison goes, since I have everybody out here and I was doing like kind of a lot of reviews today, I might as well just bring everybody back for another cameo here. So I'll do the shortest person, which is Robin here. As you can see, he's pretty short. Robin's pretty short, and Anti-Monitor is much taller than him. And I'll do Martian Manhunter. So still a good size. I just wish he was maybe, if he was right about here, I think he would be perfect. I mean, he's supposed to be quadruple the size of what he actually is as a figure, but he can fluctuate his size. So, and here we go. Here we have Ares again, and he's taller than Ares. Let's go with, this makes sense. I'll do Kilowog. He's still taller than Kilowog, so that's good. And then we'll do Chemo here. And Chemo's much taller than him. So there you go. And Chemo. And then we'll do one more, and this was sometimes one would be taller than the other. Maybe I just didn't have them standing up 100% straight, but Anti-Monitor is actually a hair. Now, maybe it's probably not getting it the best, but they're pretty much the same size. If I have them not leaning backwards, or I think Anti-Monitor just by his head maybe has Atom Smasher just by maybe about that much, maybe about a quarter of an inch. So there you go, you have that. So yeah, those are your size comparisons. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me just get him out of frame, sorry. Like I said, he's definitely a really cool collect and connect figure. If you don't feel like collecting the entire wave, which I completely understand why most people wouldn't want to do that, because like I said, not every figure appeals to everyone, in this wave. But nonetheless, he's a really good figure. You can usually find him pretty cheap on eBay. I've seen around the $30 to $40 range. I've seen him go for. He's one of the cheaper collect and connect figures, but I think sculpt-wise, he's one of the better. So if I had to rate him, I'm probably going to give him a nice solid 8. I think he's a really good collect and connect figure. Like I said, I would rate him higher if he was a little bit bigger. If he was the size of maybe, let's say, Chemo, and maybe a little bit beefier, then I probably would have gave him a higher ranking. But still, nonetheless, I'm 2 thumbs up here. Really good figure. Like the sculpt, like the cloth cape. Very nicely done. And so let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys on the flip side.